Hi, it's Woody Huffines with your Nerd Nugget of Knowledge for today. And today's Nerd Nugget is USB drives, trick and a treat. You know, we use USB drives in our everyday life. We're all the time plugging them into our computer and taking them out, and they sure are handy things to have for storing little bits of data. Taking the pictures of a birthday party to grandma, or moving files from one computer to another, or even taking files off of your computer and using the USB to move them to your printer, or taking pictures to, I don't know, CVS and printing them. So USB drives are something that's part and parcel to what we do every day. However, as much of a treat as the USB files are, they can also be a pretty enormous trick. The first problem that you can run into with a USB drive is if you didn't put the files on the USB drive, you don't know what files are on the USB drive. It's kind of like when you go to the airport and they ask you, did you pack your luggage today? No, it packed itself. Anyway, if somebody gives you a USB drive, you don't know where that USB drive's been. It's kind of like when you pick things up when your mom told you you didn't know where they had been. So there's a possibility that you could have malware on that USB drive, and in the process of moving the things over to your computer that you wanted to move from the USB drive, you might move some unintended things that you didn't want. Also, there's a possibility that the USB drive can have an auto execute or an auto run function within it. Most of the time, especially on Windows computers, the auto run has been disabled. So when you stick a USB drive, you get a pop-up that says, what do you want to do with the USB drive? Here's an important clue. Don't pick auto run. But if auto run's enabled on your computer and you stick a USB drive, it might find a program on that computer and run it. The next thing that is a possible problem with a USB drive, it's got ROM or read-only memory on the USB drive. And if someone, a bad actor, takes a USB drive and flashes that ROM and puts bad computer programs on it, even though you don't ask it to auto run, those computer programs that are on the little USB drive have to communicate with your computer for the USB to communicate with your computer. So if you get a USB drive that somebody's messed with, the very act of plugging that USB into your machine could give you a virus or cause you a problem. The next thing that you have to worry about, and this is the worst of all, is a new thing that's called a USB killer. It looks like a regular USB drive, and what it does is when you plug it in, it takes the 5-volt power that comes through the USB drive and charges a capacitor. A capacitor is just a way of storing electricity. It's like a little battery, but a capacitor instantaneously discharges when it reaches its set point. So these little USB drives are called USB killers. You can buy the dang things on Amazon.com. You plug it into the computer and it starts charging that capacitor from the power supply from the USB, and when it reaches like 250 volts, it drops that whole charge into your computer. And even though it's called a USB killer, it doesn't kill the USB, it kills your computer. It puts a 250 volt charge right on the motherboard because the USB is connected to the motherboard. Another thing that looks a lot like a USB because it sticks into a USB port on your television is a Fire Stick, like the Amazon Fire Stick. And you see ads all the time, especially on Craigslist, where someone has a jailbroken Fire Stick or a free Fire Stick. So you can get Amazon for free because they've reprogrammed it and they've hit something on that flash drive that allows you to use the Amazon Fire Stick, for example, free. Don't do it. The cost of putting that in your computer or your television may be a lot more than the cost of just going ahead and paying for Amazon Fire, because those Amazon Fire Sticks that are, quote, jailbroken are often slap full of stuff that you don't want on your television, on your network, or on your computer. So that's another source of where there's something that sounds good and it's a little bit enticing, but there ain't nothing comes for free. Remember, just like on the internet, if something's free, you are the product. If a Fire Stick is free, then you might be the product to that bad actor. So, even though USBs are a great treat, look out for the tricks in USBs. So, know where the USB came from. Don't take a USB from someone that you don't know and trust. And even here, if it's from your brother, although you might trust your brother, he might be a computer neophyte, let's say, and not know that he had bad things on the computer. Don't ever pick up a USB on the street. If you're coming out of the Walmart store and you see a USB on the ground, walk past. Don't pick it up. Don't pick up USBs in trade shows and places where somebody could, for example, pick up a couple of the USBs, take them back to their computer, put bad stuff on them, and then drop them in the pile. So USBs as giveaways in trade shows or at fairs or something that's not so good. If you get a new USB, unwrap it from the package and put it in the computer. If you get a USB from somebody else, make sure they're computer savvy or a coworker, and be careful which ones you plant into your computer. So, are USBs a trick or a treat? Well, like a lot of other things in life, there's a cost benefit, and they sure are handy, but they sure can mess you up. And listen, if this information is handy to you, you learn things, you'd like to see some more of them, hit the subscribe button below, ring the notification bell, and next time we put one of these out, you'll be notified. We'd sure appreciate it. I'm Woody Huffines with NerdsToGo in McKinney in Frisco, Texas.